And let's bring him in. Brent Sopel, man. I said I love this guy. There he is. Down in St. Pete today, brother? Is that where you are?
No, unfortunately, I came back to Chicago to visit my kids, so I had to leave the plus 30 weather to 0.
Yeah, to get out of the madness of Champa Bay, as Steven Stamkos said. But listen, Brent, before we get into all of that, I got to ask you about your tweet, man. When you tweeted that the Canucks have quit on the general manager, not the coach, did you expect that it would just go like wildfire across all of BC?
No, I didn't, and I wasn't trying to stir the pot. I was just, telling the way I see it. As a GM, I was fine with not signing Markstrom. 8-year deal. He's in his third. I think he's 32 now. So I was fine with that. Bringing Holtby in and Demko way he played, no problem at all. But you get rid of a heart and soul guy, a tandem in the back end, and everybody's up in arms on Myers. Well, Myers is now, when you get rid of a guy like that, you've got to expect more out of him. And that's like expecting me to go score goals. At the end of career, that wasn't happening. So they got rid of him. And then obviously, Foley. Now guys are playing out of their roles. So you got a 3-4 D-man is now playing a 1-2. So now you're asking him to play 3, 4, 5 extra minutes. This is where, when you don't do your job as a GM, you expect guys to do too much. And that's what's going on right now. And, obviously Tanev was a heart and soul guy. And those are the guys what keeps the team together. And now you take a look at their million, guys quitting on each other. And look what Green was doing last year. Look what they did. You don't turn off the coach in, I don't know how many months. I'm not very good at math. So, from going from the bubble to
3 or 4 months,
the start of the season. Yeah, you don't turn that off. So where is it coming from? Jim Benning did a terrible job. The team was trending in a great direction. As a that's my team. They draft me. They gave me an opportunity, and he let that whole. Let's say he let all of Canada down, because all Canada, we want to see a Stanley Cup come back to Canada.
Yeah, and in Vancouver, which would be their worst or their first, and I see why it's a hurting fan base of the Vancouver Canucks. But here's the thing. This is why I want to talk to you. I usually think a GM has about 3 coaches he could fire, and I don't think Benning's through 3. Right? Like Travis Green, usually the GM will put the coach in front of the bullet before he gets the bullet. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. How many coaches has Benning been through? I don't think he's been through 3, but do the Aquilinis look at this and do they realize what's going on here? Because I think somebody needs to be fired. And I saw Travis Green after the game last night. He was lost in the news conference, spaced out in his eyes. Like it's not him, but do the owners know that?
Well, the big question is, how much do the Aquilinis have their hands into it? That's the question. I'm great at what I did, play hockey, but I wasn't managing money. When an owner owns a team, let's go back to this weekend. Tom Brady, you win Super Bowls from the top up. The Crafts in New England, they run the team properly and all the way down. They let everybody do their job. I've heard that Aquilinis like to put their hands in it too much. Kind of the same thing that went on in Edmonton for all those years, drafting Yakupov, certain guys like that. So the question to me is, how much do Aquilinis really have their hands in this? I think it's too much.
That's scary. That's bringing your kid on stage for the draft. Scary. And that's what ownership is. That's what ownership's becoming in all of pro sport. Brent Sopel, by the way, 659 NHL games, a Stanley Cup champion in 29, and of course, warms my heart, Saskatoon Blades, Swift Current Broncos, which, by the way, you had mentioned to producer Clark you wanted to talk junior. Are we going to stay on the NHL, or are we moving on to junior? What else is on your mind?
Whatever you want. It's junior hockey. I just feel bad for the kids. They're talking about 24 games. Why can't they make 4 bubbles? Let's take the BC teams can be a bubble. The Alberta teams can be a bubble. Saskatchewan. Then you've got the 2 Manitoba, obviously Brandon, Winnipeg. We could put them in the U.S. division in Spokane, Tri-Cities, Seattle. Make those a division. Make it a bubble. They all can stay in one hotel. They're all away from their families. So who's going to sacrifice in this? It's going to be the coaches and the trainers. But the game of hockey has changed. And really fighting, you're talking about with TSN, it's a business now. And these poor kids are suffering. The coaches would sacrifice, the trainers would sacrifice to play. There's too much money involved in the game on the lower levels. Make 4 bubbles. Everybody's doing school online. No problem. Go stay in a hotel for 6 or 7 months, because who's going to take on a kid as a billet family with everything going on? I know I would.
I know. But here's the thing. This is kind of what's happening. And Soaps, I see that you're watching our story and you're liking our stuff. So you're seeing what's going on, right? Yeah. And the WHL people were very upset that a report leaked from Sportsnet last week. Jeff Merrick was the guy that tweeted it, that there was going to be a bubble right here in Regina in the sweatpants capital, because they are working on it. But it was a premature report. And I think they don't want to tick off the health authorities. Have I read that right, Darren? Like, they don't want to have the top doctor look at this and go, I haven't approved this. It's off. It's highly, highly, highly delicate. And Clark was saying that you said they're playing junior in Florida. Like, what's the hockey situation in Florida that's not NHL?
Yes, there's a league called the USHL, which is teams from Long Island, Boston, everywhere. They moved all the teams to Florida. So all the kids are playing, staying in a hotel. There's a rink with 3 ice surfaces, and they're playing all their games there. Again, exactly what I'm talking about right now. All the kids are doing their school online, so they have practice slots. They've got school slots, and they've got games every other day, every 2-3 days. So I agree. You got to be smart, and that's why I think the bubble in each place. You're not going to have fans. You keep the players together. Each team can have a floor. They can interact with each other, because right now, if you're staying in a billet family, you could come home. You got to go sit in your room. How big's your room in a billet family's house? I was there, not very big. It's a shoebox. You can't leave your room. You can go to the bathroom, you come back. Your food is sitting outside, out your door. They knock on the door. You got to open your door. What kind of lifestyle is that for the kids?
When you said, by the way, coaches and trainers, I think they're ready to come back. Yeah, they'll miss their kids, but it's been...
Their wives want them out faster than anybody.
It's like, go. And that's junior hockey in Western Canada. Darren mentioned the Q. Sunday night, the Cataract beat the Oceanic 5-2 in Shawinigan. In Halifax, the Eagles beat the Moosehead 6-4. In Sherbrooke, the Huskies beat the Phoenix 3-2. In Baie-Comeau, Quebec, the Remparts beat the Drakkar 5-2. So I don't know what it is out here in Western Canada, what the holdup is here. But I think, can you just speak to your fellow Canadians, Brent, in that? Because from what I hear with in Florida, and maybe Chicago too, but Florida specifically, they're rolling like there is no COVID. There's no lockdown. Is that right?
No. So there's never been a lockdown. Every single store is open. Every single restaurant, bars, everything is wide open. Nothing's been closed. Illinois, everything's been shut down. So the beaches are open. Super Bowl, the last week, it's been packed. Everybody's partying. Everybody's down here. You have to wear your mask in a grocery store like that or something. Or if you go to restaurants, you walk into the table, take it off. But the bars are packed. New Year's, I was in the bar till 2 o'clock in the morning. Nothing has changed down here. Here in the U.S., the death toll almost stayed the same as it did last year. It went up a little bit, but I'm not going to get into politics. We'll leave that alone.
No, it's smart. I tried it. Don't do it anime. The last thing...
I think you said, you're smart, act stupid. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, right. The last time we had you on, you predicted a Chicago upset of the Oilers in the play-in round, and it happened. And you're like, there's still the Chicago Blackhawks here, right? There was still Corey Crawford and, all the guys, Kane and Taves, and it happened. What's your take on their start for them this year?
I got to go back after the GM, Stan Bowman kind of, he's left his team a little bit high and dry. You bring in 3 rookie goalies. Playing goalie in the NHL is tough. Now, if you want to, Subban as your next starter, you got to have a veteran guy that you got to bring in. So, obviously, with Jonathan Toews being out with what he is, Dotch being hurt again, I still think that was a bad draft pick. We'll leave that alone. They obviously can't outskill anybody. They've got to work hard. And, you've got to try and bring some excitement to the game. The fans are what we play the game for. That's what brought the excitement. So they've played a little bit better, but it's going to be a long season for them. They don't have the depth with the top two centermen out, and it's a different team with those three goalies back there. You never know what you're getting.
Well, it's just so funny how people get spoiled, right? Because I've had a lot of friends that have worked with the Blackhawks. Rich Preston was a little before your time, but you probably know Rico. Yeah. And I've talked to Daryl Sutter about it. And like in the 90s in Chicago was not a great place to be. They weren't, right? No, it was bad. And the early 2000s, and you had the longest drought in the NHL going back to 1961. So you felt that when you showed up in 07, and then they win 3 Stanley Cups in a decade, and they're all pissed off that they're not in the Stanley Cup final every year. It's like it doesn't work like that.
Well, I think the problem I have with Stan Bowman and the management, just tell it the way it is. Listen, guys, we won 3 Stanley Cups in 6 years. Would you rather do that, or we just be relevant every year? No, what? We gave up some great draft picks. Philip Deneau, for an example, in Montreal, your number one centerman we gave up. You had some first-round picks. Guys, we gave up all these assets to win 3 Stanley Cups. So we got some contracts. We got to get some use. So I'd rather, have 3 Stanley Cups and be in a transition where we are now. Just be honest. Be truthful. You wouldn't lose it. You maybe lose some fans because you're not winning, the bandwagon fans who sprain their ankle jumping on and off the bandwagon. But the real true fans will stick with you. And I think that here in Chicago, they've lost a lot of fans because they're not honest. And then now Stan Bowman comes out the way he did, saying we're going to rebuild when you didn't have a conversation with Kane and Taves, your 2 guys that got you these Stanley Cups. That's fine. Just be honest. Tell the spade the way it is. And everybody would have been a heck of a lot happier.
I love it. Man, we covered a lot of ground today. And but here, the fans want both. They want the Stanley Cups and be relevant. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. No. I know that. Right? But that's why GMs don't want to say rebuild, because fans just fold their tents like, we'll see you when the rebuild's done. And it doesn't. It doesn't.
But, yeah. Oh, I agree with you completely. But when you have 3 Stanley Cups to measure up, it's not the St. Louis Blues where you have 1. Look at St. Louis Blues. They came in the league in, was it 76, something like that? They went to the finals 2 straight years.
67.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. So
there you go. Right.
But they went to the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row and never got back there till they won. So here in Chicago, you have 3. People put the word dynasty behind it. So if you explain that to fans that way, like they had an open gate ticket for them to keep the fans. I agree with you. Fans are like women. They want their cake, they want to eat it too.
They want it all. It doesn't work that way. All right, Brent, we covered a lot of ground. Always great to see your smiling face. I'm glad it's going great. Keep in touch, my man. And by the way, it's minus 56 today here, I think. So enjoy your life choices. You've made some good ones.
Keep doing the great work. Love watching.
Thank you, buddy. Brent Sopel.
Fans are like women. So what I took at the end of it? I love it.
I'm moving on.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Well, I said one time, calling a game on the radio, I said, turnovers are like ex-wives. The more you have, the more they hurt you and the more they cost you. And I got called into a meeting the next day. You can't say that. But it's true. Can't say that. So I don't want to get Brent Sopel in trouble. That's all.
All right.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.